All right, everybody, welcome back. Today I am hawking Fritz. It's a little bigger than Squatterism at High Noon, but again, it is a short story just like Squatterism at High Noon, and it has photos, this time of Fritz, the dog. This is the story about my dog and how I can't stop thinking about the dog I grew up with. And, I'm not a short story writer. It's just not my medium. I don't really 100% know how to do it. It's shocking that I even did this, because once I start developing a project, it sort of starts to unravel, unfold, and every little aspect of it I want to explore and unpack. And so even if it ends up being a short story, the process of it ends up being bigger than probably it would be for most writers. And it could have easily been a novel had I not restrained myself. It actually took a lot of energy to not write it as a novel. So what I did, though, was I wrote this short story. It took several months to get it exactly right, exactly the way I wanted it. And it ended up being published. I wrote it in 2020, but it ended up being published. Trying to figure. Wait, no, I wrote it in 2019 and it was published in 2020. So it was first published in an online magazine called Silent Auctions in 2020, but I wrote it in 2019. And this is the 2022 paperback edition. So it comes with the short story. It comes with... Okay, so the short story too, by the way, isn't formatted like a normal book. I deliberately formatted it like the manuscript from my MFA workshop, because I wrote it while I was in an MFA program at Sarah Lawrence College, and I workshopped it. And so as part of my academic protocol here, and so I deliberately kept the formatting to be sort of like that workshopped manuscript. And then it also, of course, has photos of the real dog that I was writing about, and it has an essay about the seeds for this idea of the story and kind of how I went about writing it, editing it, rewriting it, retooling it. And of course it has my original notes from the first workup. It has notes that I emailed to myself while I'm traveling or driving or whatever. I'll often take voice notes or email notes when I'm out and about and just send them to myself. And then it has also different versions of the story as it progressed during the creation of it, because every version is so drastically different. And it also has a compilation of the opening paragraph as it evolved. So the opening paragraph from the first draft all the way to the final publication version. And so I'll read you the opening paragraph in the final version. Maybe I'll also read some of the dialogue that follows, just so you can get an idea of the story. It is a story about my dog. It's a story about growing up and how I don't know if I would have survived growing up if it wasn't for my dog, Fritz. So, every night before bed, Mommy slices my soul with giddy cheer, lacking in accuracy. She's the bolt fired into the brain of a steer, her dear son, her little boy. She's the snuffer to the candle of individuality, suffocating the blazing fire of inspiration, one flame at a time, as she sits high upon her altar of absolute parental power. I say, why, Mommy? Why must you slice up my soul like this? Isn't it stealing? No, she says. It's not theft if it's approved by the church. It's divine heritage. She says this is life and that over time, I'll adapt to her ways. Life. A series of fine slices with the finest blade so fine you don't know you've been cut until you've bled out, drained of all that made you feel alive. This, she insists, is the way life should be. So that's the opening. It's pretty dark, but Fritz will absolutely 100% save the day, to a certain extent. Fritz, the story about how dog's purpose is to save the souls of man, and how he saved me from a rough childhood. So I recommend it 100%. If you want to read it for free, it's at Silent Auctions, an online magazine that you can read for free. But if you want to support the artist for realsy real, buy the paperback too. That would help me a lot. It's called Fritz, a short story and the journey of writing it, because it is a documentation of what it took to actually get this story from the seeds of random notes emailed to myself all the way to a final short story that was actually published. So great for anybody who wants to be a writer or if you love dogs. Thanks. I'll see you on the next installment when I talk about this book, Reflecting on Whatever's Clever. So make sure you return and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, everybody. Bye.